Hello.
Hello, Mark Fuller.
Hello. Am I Mark Fuller?
You are.
Oh my God.
I'm here
Okay.
today with the iconic Mark Fuller, who has been at the centre of the London club, music, restaurant scene.
My first club experience was queuing up at the Embassy Club when I was 17, pretending to be 18 and hoping to get in. And I did. And if I knew then, what I know now is that they were desperate for me to come in because they wanted my money. And so it didn't really matter as long as I looked like I was 18. They didn't care. I'm now 427. So yeah, it's 30 odd years, 35 odd years since I first hit the nightclubs, and a good 30 plus years since I was involved in them, in restaurants, bars, hotels, music. Well, they're all linked, aren't they? Really, you know.
Now, you say the Embassy because I first met you when you owned the Embassy, or?
Yeah, well, I did. I somehow got the lease on the Embassy, and I ran it as a rock club in the 80s. Before that, I was managing a band with another fellow Missfit, Mr. Rob Perino, who was the lead singer. Well, he pretended to be the lead singer. We didn't actually ever hear him sing.
So you are a pair of iconic misfits.
Yes.
You and Robert.
Yes. The Embassy was the first sort of the Embassy in the Camden Palace in the days of the sort of new romantics and all that sort of stuff, Visage and Culture Club and Eurythmics and all that sort of stuff, were kind of where I came in. And then there was the rock side, Thin Lizzy and the Damned and the Punks and the Ramones and all that sort of stuff. And it was kind of an electric time because it wasn't like we are now. There were half a dozen clubs, and there were, you know, it was all very cliquey like it is now. But it was very much more, I suppose in some ways high end, much more exclusive. There were less places, there were less demands. Life, you know, there were no mobile phones. It was that long ago, so it was like you had to go to a club to do what the function of a club should do, and that's meet people. And if I was bored on a Wednesday night, I'd get on my motorbike and go to the Embassy. I didn't have a phone, and quite often I haven't paid my phone bill, so I didn't have a phone at home either. But you'd always know that you'd meet somewhere and someone. Yeah, there was that. That was the the beginning of it. We were all young, you were excited. I got married. I had some kids and had to grow up a little bit. Ran some restaurants, ran some bars. The Embassy became quite legendary. Moved on. Strangely, one of my oldest friends was a chappie called Marco Pear White, who became quite a famous chef, I understand. And we did a few restaurants together. We did Sugar Reef and we did Red Cube together, and I helped him with Titanic. And those are more iconic times, a bit more arsey, a bit more up your own arse, a bit more where's the limo, rather than can we steal the limo. But I think the intelligent person, whether you're enjoying it or producing it, rolls with the times, and people's life has changed. Accessibility to everything is very, very, very different now, and you can get hold of anything that you want, wherever you want, on the end of your mobile phone, whereas we used to have to go hunting for it.
We did.
You know what I mean? You don't need to go to clubs anymore because you can get your sex and drugs on the mobile phone. And you can get your music on the mobile phone, so why would you pay lots of money? I went through, the cool. I would say at the beginning, clubs were definitely much more music motivated because there were music scenes. The Embassy, when I had it, was when the Embassy was there originally, it was a live music scene. When I had it, it became a rock club. Great Lemmy used to live there basically. And then you had the WAG Club, which was all the I don't know, Blue Rondo, La Turk, and all that sort of jazzy, funky, I know Sade type people. And so there were all these cliques, and then somewhere along the line, people invented charging for tables, which I must admit was very pleasant because I made a lot of money out of it. But then it became much more of a business vehicle, and when I sold Sugar Reef from Red Cube, it was completely a business vehicle. And ultimately, if you, in hindsight, which is a wonderful thing, you look back at it and you go, the fun came out of it. It became a business.
Mm.
You know, so how do you have fun? Well, you know, for a while you then, you know, you think you're getting old, you settle down, and then you suddenly realise, fuck oldness. You know what I mean? It's like, let's just carry on as we are. Doesn't, you know, age is a thing that you feel, you know, and sadly how you look. Do what you love. And so for me, you know, carrying on with the music business, I was never a great manager, but I used to manage things quite well. You know, so I suppose I call myself the great caretaker because I took care of people. Yeah,
you are very good with people.
Yeah, sometimes, particularly girls. Young girls. No, not really.
You've run several restaurants.
Yeah, Sugar Reef was amazing. I mean, we used to do 1,000 covers a day. Me, Marco, and a chap called Gary Hollyhead. Red Cube, about 300 a day. I took the idea of Sugar Reef and Red Cube, which was, as Marco said at the time, total entertainment, complete, a total entertainment, complete pleasure, affordable glamour. I took that from the big size because it could never last. Because, you know, I mean, you've got a place for 1,000 people. There aren't 1,000 nice people in London. You know what I mean? Let alone 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And then we did it in the Embassy Club for a bit, which lasted a long time. I mean, we reinvented the Embassy Club at Old Burlington Street, and that was kind of cool. It lasted a while. Did all that.
Had been legends.
Yeah, it had been legends, and you know, I mean, it was all the hangout of Beckham and Madonna and all that sort of stuff and everything else. And it was like, oh, where's Madonna in the corner? But times are changing. I mean, the nightclub industry, as far as I can see, is now completely collapsed because it was overpriced, overrated, and people don't need it anymore because, as I say, I mean, all joking apart, you can dial up a drug dealer. You can. It's not something that I do. I have my moments back in the past, but not anymore. You know, you could dial up a drug dealer. You can dial up your music. You can dial up a girl. You can dial up a party. You know, I mean, my son Max is 26, and he rarely goes to. You know, he'll go to a pub for a beer, or go to a trendy club because he's got his girlfriend with him. But when he wants a party, he'll get up whatever the latest DJ is on the laptop, pump it into his sound system, you know, which, let's face it, back in the day when you or I were children, we'd have to build our own speakers very badly from Wharfdale, you know. So and it's changed, and people want things differently. I mean, I love the hotel industry now because I think it's what people want, and it gives you value for money. I never really understood why people would pay £500 for 6 sticky seats in a nightclub to be served bottles of vodka that they know is only 42 quid in Sainsbury's. I mean, there was a song written about me, a rap guy called Lethal Bizzle, and the chorus goes, I go Embassy, he's obviously a rapper, I go Embassy, here's £5 grand, hold that Mr. Fuller. Well, I never saw him give me £5 grand, but hey ho. But it was all that culture, you know, the money culture, and of course we had a couple of economic crashes and everything else. People get sensible, and people have put a value on life now, and people have got a value on their money, which I think is a good thing, you know. And so life changes, and I think it'll change again. And I think what we've got now is we've got hotels coming to the fore, hotel bars going to the fore, cinemas, people wanting to watch movies. It's an immediate reject in my mind to the excesses of the 90s and, you know, the noughties, as they call it, straight through the 2012, 2014, where people were spending huge amounts of money essentially on nothing.
Right.
And now they want something for it. Now they actually would like to eat, you know, whilst they're spending the money. They'd like to have a cocktail made rather than have some stupid, vacuous girl with large breasts just pour you, give you some ice. I don't mind the girls with big breasts, of course. And you know, and then they'd like to stay. You know, they like to stay. I always think the great thing about hotels is that, you know, when we were, I mean, it's quite lunacy if I think about it. When we were young, you know, we'd be out till 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, and go, where are we going now, and try and find somebody's house. Actually, all we had to do was book into a hotel. You know, and we could carry on the party, sleep, and get up in the morning, have somebody else make our bed, you know, and leave at, you know, 12, 1 o'clock. And I think that's kind of cool. And what we did here with the Sanctum is to develop that one on and go, hang on, music is important, we're specifically, a rock and roll hotel. So we're not Hard Rock Cafe where we have nasty guitars on the wall and everything else. We're a rock and roll hotel because we built the hotel for a place where rock stars would like to stay rather than would like to advertise their wares. And I think it's kind of cool because you can come in, you can sit and have a drink, you can sit and have some great food, you can watch a movie, you can misbehave really badly. And I always love the analogy is that quite correctly the police and the council got quite stringent on nightclubs because of drug abuse, alcohol abuse, violence and all that sort of stuff, all based on, clubs were not what they portrayed. If you read in the English dictionary, the word club says a place where like-minded people like to meet, drink and talk or whatever. And there's nothing club-like about the clubs of today where they have 30 different promoters promoting all over London, and there's 10 tyre fitters from Islington and 20 Hooray Henrys from Chelsea and 10 businessmen from Soho and this, that and the other. What have they got in common? Why would they want to be in a club together? They don't even like the same music. It's all commerciality. And I think I think what a lot of places are doing now, particularly with hotels and bars, is because people accept that they will pay for quality. Nobody wants to spend money in a club now to be thrown around by a bouncer, told they can't do this, they can't do that, they can't do the other. And I love the greatest thing about having a hotel is if you have had too much to drink of an evening and you're in my bar, I send you to bed. If you wish to be amorous with your girlfriend, or indeed your wife, or indeed both of them, I send you to bed, right? If you wish to have a drink at 4 o'clock in the morning, it's not a problem because it's legal. If you want to be jump up and down on your bed, it's not my problem. There's more hotels in town than there ever were before, more boutique hotels in town, everything, It's a very interesting change. And so I have just signed a massive deal with one of my oldest friends called John Spence, who's got a company called Karma to do a series of Karma Sanctums across the world. Yeah. First one's being built in the Bahamas. Roger Taylor from Queen's doing the recording studio, so we're putting a recording studio in there. We've got another one going into Mykonos, where in fact Roger Taylor's wife Serena's putting a tattoo parlour in there. The one in the Bahamas, my dear friend Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden has suggested that we might need a seaplane. So we've bought a seaplane as well, so we're doing that. And then I'm going off to LA to try and buy one in Venice and Venice Beach and in West Hollywood as well, because Sanctum rock and roll hotels are meant to be just a different lifestyle. When we call them a rock and roll hotel, we mean actually it's a rock and roll lifestyle, and it doesn't mean you got to like Iron Maiden or AC/DC. Beyonce is a bit rock and roll really, or certainly Jay-Z, her husband is. It's just the way that we are with people. Private cinema, everything's cool. We've got a rooftop bar, we've got a jacuzzi. And if you phone down at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and want some more vodka, we send it up rather than, try not to.